Listeners, welcome back to another Zoom editions of Brothers on Law. I'm Larry Mandel.
Hi, I'm Rob Mandel.
A big shout out to Debbie the Mortgage Mom and her information packed show. Hey, we love following her, and this show will be especially helpful to her listeners as well.
Yeah, and speaking of shout outs, we had asked our listeners to call us with their nominations of a local hero or group that is going above and beyond during the COVID crisis. And we have one of those messages to play right now, right, Engineer Dave?
We do. I'm pulling it up right now.
County of Riverside Community Action has been delivering food to the homeless for the past 2 months during this COVID thing that's going on. So I want to give them a shout out. Thanks, bye.
Wonderful.
Nice, but awesome shout out. Hey, and so today we're bringing back Sandra Ruiz from FixYourCreditConsulting.com to discuss credit repair during this unusual time of quarantine. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, Sandra, so I'm sure what's on a lot of people's minds right now is, hey, if I can't run my business, or if I'm out of a job because of the coronavirus shutdowns, what is that going to do to my credit score? Do I get any kind of special consideration or, help in that regard? Or am I just, I'm going to have a bad credit score if I can't pay some of my bills?
Well, there are a lot of creditors offering deferments right now on their credit cards and loans. So they need to call their creditors and ask them for a deferment and not just ignore it and not make payments, because if they do that, their scores could drop a minimum of 50 points by being late on just a credit card or a loan. So they definitely need to ask for assistance and call their creditors and lenders and get their payments deferred.
Go ahead, Sandra.
If they can still pay their mortgage payment, I recommend they do so, because a lot of lenders are putting forbearance on their mortgage of the credit report if they defer their mortgage payment. So that could affect them if they try to refinance later on in the future. So I would recommend trying to at least pay their mortgage if they can.
Yeah, so that was my question, whether or not it affects your credit score. Is it only regarding mortgages, or is it, let's say you want a deferment on your car loan or credit card, is it going to ding your credit score?
Not if you call them and ask them for the forbearance or the deferment. I haven't heard that the creditors or lenders are going to put any kind of forbearance on the credit report for those type of loans or credit card payments. But for mortgage payments, I heard that they are putting a forbearance on the credit. But if they have to try to get something done so that they don't get reported late. A lot of people seem to think that it's okay to just ignore it and not make payments, and that really hurts your credit. And if you're trying to get more credit right now or try to get a loan, you're going to get denied if you have poor credit scores. So definitely stay on top of, super vigilant of your credit. I've even heard lenders deferring payments and still reporting you late. So if you notice that you asked for deferment and you still got reported late, you should still call and request a removal of that late reporting if you had already called them and asked them for the deferment.
And I've heard that the if you make any kind of payment, even if it's not the full payment, that's better than having a late payment. What do you say in that regard?
Yeah, absolutely. But if you're still not making at least the minimum payment, like on a credit card or a car loan, they could still report you late. So you should definitely just call your creditor and just let them know, like, look, I can't make the full payment. Can you work with me? I lost my job, or, whatever it is that how you got affected by what's going on. And usually they will work with you. They'd rather, work out a situation with you than not and have you pay them nothing. So definitely just communicate with them and talk to them.
Now, Sandra, you mentioned calling in, but when I've tried to call in, I'm on hold for hours, it seems like. So is there any other method of getting through to these people, or you just got to grin and bear it?
Well, I would call first thing in the morning, as soon as they open. You might be able to get in quicker, or, late at night, before they close, just not during, the day. It's going to take a lot longer. I've heard that the wait time can be anywhere from 2 to 3 hours with some of these creditors.
Yeah,
That's
that's
good advice.
crazy. That's
That's good
crazy.
advice.
So, what, you know what I heard, and that this kind of just makes me crazy, that there was legislation proposed for a moratorium on giving someone a bad credit score during this crisis, and that legislation was couldn't pass Congress.
Mhm.
Did you hear about that, Sandra?
I did hear a little bit about that. I don't know if it's going to actually go through. I don't think it's fair. It shouldn't. So many people are getting affected right now just by losing their job, and now for their credit to get affected, it's just going to put them in a worse position because if they have to move to another place, they're going to probably get rejected or charged more because their credit scores are low.
Yeah,
So
that's
hopefully,
madness.
Sandra, do you
Absolutely.
think though that the lenders will be aware of the fact that everybody's score could go down a little bit and they might now have a different threshold?
I think
Why
they
would
are.
everyone's score go down?
Well, generally, I
Oh,
mean,
down. Oh, yeah,
down,
down.
Rob. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Not up,
You
Rob.
Yeah.
Down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Down
they're
across the board.
yeah, they're going to go down from people maxing out their credit cards right now. If that's their only way of being able to pay for things, they're going to go down if someone pays late on something and they didn't talk to their creditor. So a lot of people are going to get affected, and that's why it's, super important to just stay on top of your credit, monitor it, frequently. You can, get access to a free report through Credit Karma or Experian, and that way you can get alerts if something happens to your credit and, stay on top of it. It's, super important, especially if you need to do something with your credit soon. A lot of people are, maybe needing to buy another car, wanting to buy a mortgage or refinance their mortgage. So, definitely stay on top of it so that it doesn't, you don't get too affected. And if you do, we can help you.
Yeah,
Now
because
let's
the main
talk
reason.
about what
Go
you
ahead, Rob.
do.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, I can see you and you can see me, so we don't have to talk at the same time. It's not like we're in different rooms, but we're here on Zoom and we can see each other. But
Yeah,
no,
just
I'm going to
don't
defer to
interrupt.
age before beauty. You go.
Oh, well, because isn't the focus for most people, their mortgage? The
Yeah.
information like on Mortgage Mom, people are, they want to get a mortgage and they want their credit score to be as high as possible so they get the best loan possible, right? So how is this COVID going to affect the housing market and their ability to get a good mortgage based upon a lower credit score?
Yeah, so I've been hearing that they've changed their guidelines on credit scores. So right now they're, making it harder for people to have lower credit scores to refinance or buy. I believe it used to be a cutoff of like 580 was the lowest credit score. Now it's like, 640 might be the lowest that they're going. And even at 680 was what I'm hearing with some lenders. So, it's going to affect a lot of people that just don't have their score that high from being able to refinance. And, that might be the only way some people are able to survive right now if they lost their job, pulling some cash out of their home and, using that to, help them survive until they, can get another job. So yeah, it's definitely going to affect a lot of people.
This is a mess. This is a mess. So remind our listeners what you do and what folks like you do if they get in a jam on their credit score and now that house that they were going to buy, even though they may have the down payment still, they may have some enough to get into this house, but their credit score has been affected because of the COVID thing. What can they do through a person like yourself?
Okay. So what we do is we help our clients increase their credit scores by removing any negative items, anything that could be identity theft related, or could be an old item, or, just, shouldn't be on their credit report. So we'll review their credit report, look for everything that's affecting their credit. We'll go over with them all the things that are affecting their credit, whether it's a lot of inquiries because they were applying for a car loan or applying for too many credit cards or loans. We can remove those from the credit report in as little as 30 days. We also teach our clients how to, pay down their debt so that they're under 30% of the limit, which will help their credit scores. I teach my clients how to rebuild their credit, how to manage their credit. So we don't only just repair the bad stuff, but we consult them and, teach them how to have better credit habits so that they don't continue to be a returning client. I even teach my clients that, some of the stuff they can do themselves. They don't always have to hire somebody, but, we want to help our clients. So we try to, clean their credit up as much as we can and teach them just how to rebuild it so that they can get their credit scores as high as possible so that they can qualify for a mortgage or a car loan or even renting an apartment. So that's what we do. We try to help our clients, try to get their scores as high as possible.
Right, right.
And,
And
and
so
there's
is there
boy, oh boy,
I'm right here, Larry, I'm right here.
I see you,
Is
Rob.
there a special avenue or technique that you've developed to address what's going on with people right now in this because of the shutdowns?
Yes, absolutely. So a lot of clients have been calling in recently. We've been super busy. People, wanting to refinance their home or wanting to buy a car soon or just, get more credit. And so when I've gone through their credit report and I notice that they have a lot of debt, I'm teaching them, to either try to consolidate that debt by doing a balance transfer to another credit card company that's going to offer them 0% interest on the credit card for 12 months so that they can save some money. If their credit
Okay.
scores are high enough where they can qualify to do that, that is one of the best, ways to kind of, eliminate some of that, stress of the high interest rates that some of these credit card companies put on you. So I teach them things like that. Teach them how to just, if they have any bills that do belong to them that were recently reported. I know usually those can be harder to remove if they're valid. So I tell them, just pay them, ask for a deletion letter. It'll be a lot easier for us to remove it or even for yourself to get it off your credit report by paying it. And this way you avoid from it coming back because a lot of these cell phone company bills will return if they're recent and they're valid because a lot of times they'll sell them to another creditor or collection agency who will then re-report it on their credit report. And so I don't want that to happen, especially if they're in
Right.
the middle of it.
That's good information. Now, the refinance for a mortgage is time sensitive. So I know you mentioned something about 30 days. Is there any way to speed up the process? Because some people are thinking, I got to get this done sooner than later.
Absolutely. So there's ways to increase your credit quickly, and that's getting added to somebody's credit card as an authorized user. So I tell my clients, if you have any family members or friends with great credit, getting them to let you piggyback onto their credit cards will help increase your scores in as little as 2 weeks. Another way
Cool.
is, and that's a service we also offer to our clients if they don't have anybody that can do that for them. But I always tell them, ask your friends and family first. You can save some money that way. The other thing I tell them too as well is, like I said, paying off some, recent debt that's showing up on your credit report. Things of that nature, trying to get your balances down as much as you can on your credit cards. So things like that. But the
Okay,
other way,
I have a question, Sandra.
Okay.
I'm sorry, but I did interrupt you.
Yes,
what was
Robert.
real quick though, I was going to say, if they have some collections on their credit report and they pay them and request a deletion letter, their mortgage company can do a rapid rescore and get it off in as little as 5 days. So that's
Okay.
another increase
That's
your
good
credit.
information too.
Yeah,
But
that's
here's my
called,
question.
wait, Rob, right, let me just
What?
mention one thing. That's called, isn't there a terminology called delete the trade line?
Delete, yes. Yep, exactly.
And what does that mean?
So that's getting the actual account removed from the credit report. So it looks like it never existed.
And what good does that do?
It helps increase their credit scores because,
Okay.
that originally that collection dropped their scores by 80 points. So once that
wow.
collection is on, their scores will go back up.
So here is my question. I was going through some of this material, and Equifax says consider adding a consumer statement to your credit report.
Mhm.
And then they give you an example and they say, be advised that the negative accounts on my credit report are related to the coronavirus. I intend to make these up as soon as I can. All right. Now, first, so I guess there's two questions that go along with that. Have you heard of that before? Because this is coming from Equifax. And what good does it do if someone
Yes,
does that?
I have heard of that before. A lot of people do it, especially if they put like a fraud alert on their credit report saying, I'm a victim of identity theft. Lets consumers, creditors know, like, okay, this person may not actually owe all this debt. If they're a victim of identity theft, this could belong to somebody else, and it's now showing up on their credit report. Also, for people that are named after their parents, a lot of times they get their information mixed up, and they could end up with their father's collections on their credit report. So by putting in a statement like on the report saying, I have a very common name, I was named after my father, some of these items don't belong to me, will help the lenders know, okay, so this person isn't so bad, they're just a victim of, circumstances. And so
So do
that's
you,
why.
so do you advise them to do it, as Rob suggested, just on their own, or should they connect with you and kind of massage that letter a little bit more?
They should definitely connect with us, and then we can better advise them on that, because they don't want to say the wrong thing or put the wrong, thing on their credit report that could hurt them later on.
And is that something that you can do for them? In other words, hey, my business was shut down due to the coronavirus. I'm a restaurant owner, or I'm a restaurant employee, and my employer was shut down. And I need to put something on my credit report just in case. Is that something you can do for them?
Absolutely, we can. It's not
Okay.
hard to do.
All right, that's good to know.
Yeah.
So
Maybe we
the
should
other
give
thing I was looking at was this this Forbes article, and it says this came out on April 14th, and it says losing your job or having a lower income does not in and of itself lower your credit score. What do you think of that?
Well, as long as they're able to still make their payments on time, then it's not going to affect their credit.
I see.
So if they don't get
Because
reported late, then they're okay.
there's no report to the credit companies that you lost your job per se, right?
Right.
So maybe it's a good time for everybody to know how to contact Sandra.
I think it's a great time for that.
There you go. So tell us, Sandra.
Okay, the best way to reach us is by calling us at 877-212-2450. You can also look us up at fixyourcreditconsulting.com or getgoodcredit.com. It's our sister company. We are also doing a raffle right now to help all of the front line people, like anyone working in the hospitals, police officers, teachers, grocery store workers, anybody that's still working in contact with people. We're doing a raffle right now where we're going to give up to 5 people free credit repair just by submitting their information and providing proof of what their business is. And so we're looking to help some people.
Perfect.
Now that is awesome. Can you give
Yeah.
that phone number one more time?
Yes, 877-212-2450. They can also send us an email. Our best way is contact@fixyourcreditconsulting.com. They can also look us up on Yelp. We are the highest rated, most reviewed on Yelp. We have over 160 5-star reviews.
Wonderful. And what
Yeah.
I think you went through that website. I mean the website very quickly. Can you say it one more time?
Yes, we you can find us at fixyourcreditconsulting.com or getgoodcredit.com.
Nice. Fix your credit.
Yeah.
All right. So
Very
I
important.
think we have a message from a listener. Her name is Aileen, and she left a message regarding identity theft and legal action. Let's hear what Eileen has to inquire about.
This is Eileen. I really enjoy listening to you guys. I have a legal question. I'm pretty sure someone has been using my identity and I know who it is. I've made a police report, but the police doesn't seem to be doing anything. So before I take legal action, one, is it worth it? And if this person has nothing, will suing them even get my money back? Thanks.
Well, my input is this. I think she should take legal action. It's kind of a dicey thing right now because the courts are not really open. This is kind of an emergency situation, so she might be able to have some access to the courts. I would still go back to the police and maybe ask for a supervisor or a detective and follow up on that. What's your thoughts, Rob?
It's a tough one because the police have their hands full
Right.
and they may not follow up. And if she knows who the person is, then she could go in for a temporary restraining order or a preliminary injunction. She'd have to find someone, not us, unfortunately, but someone who does that kind of work. But we may be able to refer to the right person. And then, like you say, probably it's emergent enough that the courts would hear it on an ex parte basis, meaning, specially and imminently set. So, but Sandra, you deal with the effects of identity theft on someone's credit scores. Do you have any input that Eileen can consider?
Yes, absolutely. Putting a freeze on her credit would help prevent them from being able to open up any credit cards or loans. And she can do that directly with the credit bureaus. Experian has an option to do it directly on their website. She should definitely freeze her credit, put a fraud alert with the consumer statement on her credit stating that, I'm a victim of identity theft. So-and-so has been opening credit in my name if she wants to mention their name. But definitely doing both of those things would help, alleviate and prevent from any future use. And, whatever has happened, I can help her repair. She calls me.
That's great
And
advice.
I imagine too that she should just call her credit card companies, call the bank, and say, hey, someone's using my name, my credit cards. We got to stop all that and do a
She
switch.
could even request to get her social security number changed. She would just
Oh,
have to
wow.
contact them, present like her police report, maybe even a restraining order. She has to provide proof of being a victim of identity theft, and sometimes they will allow her to switch her social security number.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
good advice.
So we have
We have-
another message, right, Rob?
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay.
My name is Sarah, and I heard Sandra on a previous show and wanted to know how to get my old medical charges and old hospital stays off my credit report. Insurance covered a portion, and I made arrangements to make payments for the remainder, so I'm working on that, but I just won't go away. If you guys could help, I would so appreciate it. Thank you. Bye.
So Sandra, what do you think about that?
So with something like that, I would ask if she is making payments on them to request a deletion letter. So once she receives that letter, she can send it into the credit bureaus herself or to us, and we can submit it to the bureaus to get it removed, and just dispute them. Any that don't come off or aren't willing to give a deletion letter, she can still dispute them and ask them to validate the accounts. A lot of times once they're paid, they don't validate them and they're easier to remove from the credit report. So you can get them removed. A lot of times people pay like old debt and it stays on their credit. It just reports as paid, but it can be removed. It doesn't have to stay on their credit for 7 years.
Well, it sounds like she should really Sarah should really contact you for this.
That'd be easier,
Yeah.
wouldn't it?
Yeah, much.
I mean, that's my attitude. Let the expert handle it for you. It's going to be a lot less expensive in the long run.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, she's already taken steps, but she has to go to the next level. And I think she needs a
Yeah.
professional.
Yeah. So, Sarah, call Sandra
Right.
today.
Call me.
Now.
Right, right.
Well,
All right. And speaking of calling, I don't know that I gave that number for our listeners to nominate their special heroes and people that they think are going above and beyond, and then we're going to talk to some of these folks and even help them out. So that number is 800-310-7113, and that's basically our number to reach us for any reason. But again, you can leave your message and we'll follow up. That's 800-310-7113.
great. So, okay, we want to thank Sandra for joining us today. And, it's been great. You've been very informative and very helpful for our listeners.
As always.
Yes.
Thank you guys for having me. It was fun.
It's our pleasure.
You got it. And if you've missed any part of this show, or you want to hear our previous shows, tune in to Brothers on Law on YouTube, or go to our website, brothersonlaw.com, and you can listen to us also on iTunes and Podbean.
That's right. And so a big thank you to all of our listeners out there that are staying safe out there. Please be safe, be healthy, and we look forward to being here next week on Saturday at 8 a.m. on Go Country 105. And remember,
let the scales of justice tip in your favor.
The opinions expressed in the Brothers on Law show are for informational purposes only and are not a substitute for personal professional legal advice.